There's a brand new free extension for Claude Code called SEO Machine, and this is a free extension to help you rank #1. So SEO Machine is available on GitHub, and you can start using it with Claude Code. That's what we're going to do today. It's already got 5,600 GitHub stars, and this basically allows you to add a bunch of custom demands like research, write, rewrite, analyze existing, optimize performance, review, etc. So you can basically improve your workflows for Claude Code, and you can automate a lot of your workflows too. Now, if you want to get this set up, basically it should be pretty simple. We're just going to go into Terminal, start a new window. You can press Command and T if you want to do that. And then we're going to get Claude running with this. So if we type in Claude Code, or if we type in Claude, it will start running Claude Code for us. There we go. All right. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to start using this and install it directly with Claude Code, and we should be able to start getting this running. I also imagine like you could install this not just to Claude Code, but to any agent that you have. So that could be, for example, could be OpenClaw, it could be Hermes, that sort of thing, right? So if we want to get started using this, we can just copy this GitHub link and we'll say install this, and then we can start working this magic, right? And basically the whole point of this is like, it's designed to help us rank. Now, we do a lot of AI SEO for our websites already. Claude is probably my favorite. You can see like our rankings have improved a lot since we started using Claude over the last few months. And it's the most humanized for creating content. So I'm going to start using the SEO Machine and just test it out and see how it performs. It's going to be interesting as well. One thing you could actually do is you got to be careful with this, right? You'll see there's a lot of skills inside here that we could use. So if we go to the drafts folder, for example, we can take a look through and see, okay, what's inside the skills folders? What is this actually doing? How does it work, etc. So let's check this out. If we go to .claude and then skills, we've got all the different skills here. All right, so for example, A/B test setup, analytics tracking, competitor alternatives, content strategy. And then you can actually read what it does inside this section, right? So if you're not sure about installing it and that sort of thing, then you can always check out the skills and you could create your own skills based on the inspiration that you get from doing this, if that makes sense. So this is beginning to install now. There's also, if you haven't already come across it on Claude Code, there's an auto implement where you don't have to accept permissions every time. It's called Claude Auto Mode, so you can find more about it on the website. But basically, this allows you to like automate accepting permissions if you don't want to go through them manually. Just a little tip there if you're wondering about how to use it. And you can use this command, which is the old way of doing it, or you can run this command, which is a new way of doing it. And that's a lot safer to run actually with Claude Code. So you can do Claude enable auto mode, and that will just enable auto mode inside Claude Code when it's running. So it's installed SEO Machine now, as you can see, right? So it says you can open a new workspace in Claude Code, fill in the context, etc. And you can also add like your GA4 and that sort of thing. So I'm going to say, let's start using this. What are the next steps? So it didn't take too long to install, but it doesn't give us much direction in terms of how we can actually use it and get the most of it. So let's see what we get in a second. All right, so let's see what we got. We've got to fill out 3 essential context files. I'm going to say, okay, based on what I think what we could actually do is we could get it to help us with this. Based on what you know about me, help me set this up. Let's do it for me. And then if it has any questions, you can always ask us questions in a second, right? In the meantime, we can look through some more of these examples here. So let's see, for example, what we got. Yeah, analytics tracking, that's pretty cool. So I think we can give it like APIs for our GA4 and that sort of thing, and then it'll get some good analytics data from that as well, which is great because let's be honest, most humans are not going to look through all the data, but AI is perfect for that. All right, so it's actually grabbing some information and context about us, and then it's automatically filling this in. Good thing about Claude now as well is with Claude Code, it actually has persistent memory. So with that persistent memory, it can fill out a lot of the information. We don't need to do it manually, if that makes sense. Now we can also give it like writing examples here. So what we could actually do here is like we could take our best performing piece of content, like this one, and then we could say, okay, here's an example best performing content. And now it knows our style as well. Good thing as well about Claude Code is it's got access to web search. So it can use this web search feature to fill out the content from this page and then use that to plug it into the writing examples MD, right? So you see how basically if we have a look at Claude Code, going to use reference examples, features, and then brand voice as well. Now you can actually open this up as well if you wanted to see more details of it. The other thing you could probably do with this as well, because it's something that runs inside a folder locally, is you could open up Claude Desktop, and then inside Claude Desktop, you could use this to help you rank as well. So if you go to the code section over here, and then you just select the folder and go from there, right? And then it will fetch content from our website too, which you can see right here. So it's got analytics tracking inside the workflows. I actually don't know if we're going to get time to test this whole thing out. It seems like it's going to take a little while to set up, but it looks pretty cool. There's a lot of good ideas in there, a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of skills that you can just augment Claude Code. If you don't know what skills are, basically these are just like markdown file, just like a blog post, but it tells the agent exactly how to write or the skills for marketing psychology and that sort of thing. So for example, here it's got a marketing psychology and mental model section, and then you can go from there and it can start writing for you, right? So every time that you use Claude now, it will take into account all of the skills inside here and then implement into your SEO workflow. So it's pretty cool. Bear in mind as well, if you've never searched, GitHub is crazy for this stuff, right? You can actually see as well, like now Claude Code is being trained on our voice, right? So it's writing all 3 context files based on fetching the information from our blog post, which is pretty cool too. And this is all running in the automatically on the right hand side, right? So if you actually go inside here and you type in SEO on GitHub, there's loads of different skills. So obviously you've got SEO Machine, which is the one that we just looked at, and that's been updated recently as well. So it seems like they're adding new updates all the time. And then if we keep scrolling down here, you can see, for example, you got Claude SEO, you got WordPress SEO, all sorts of like repositories for improving your Claude to get better SEO. Now you do need to be careful with some of these because you're giving them access to your agents, you're giving them access to your local files. So, if you're not comfortable with installing anything, don't do it. Same as OpenClaw and agents like that. And then also, if you're really not sure, you can just look at these skill MD files for inspiration and then just ask Claude Code to create its own, right? And that way you don't need to install anyone else's external skills. So you can see now we've got the full setup, right? So it's got the priorities, the pain points, that sort of thing. And it's going to start overwriting that with the details that it's got from our website, right? Which you can see right here. So that's basically how this whole thing works. Pretty smooth workflow, pretty easy to set up. Good thing is Claude already has a lot of information about me, and also it can write for us, right? So it doesn't need me to fill out every single detail. Although if you wanted to do this properly, you would actually just write it all yourself and give it everything you need. But that's basically how it works. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out SEO Machine on GitHub. Pretty cool idea right there. I might do some more stuff on it. If people want to see that, just let me know in the comments. It looks really good. And then if you want a free SEO strategy session one-to-one with my team, you can book that in at goldie.agency. Link in the comments description, or go to goldie.agency. And you can book in a one-to-one free SEO strategy session where we'll look at your site, analyze your site, give you some tips, and give you a customized game plan to actually rank your website. So that's completely free, one-to-one at goldie.agency. Feel free to book in, and thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.